I was born in a southern state where all nature is sublime. In the city where the gals are pretty and the sun is shining nearly all the time. Hospitality's there you'll find, bright smiles everywhere. When I look around, see some other town, I'm mighty glad I came from there.
The sun is almost always shining in Blythe. It's home to the first sunrise in California, blessed with 350 days of sunshine a year. Celebrating the Centennial as the oldest incorporated community in Riverside County, Blythe has come a long way in its 100 years, from a small settlement along the Colorado River to a thriving community of 20,000. It's always been a big farming town, and in recent years, the solar industry has come to light. The beginnings of Blythe date back to the late 1870s, when the city's namesake, San Francisco financier Thomas Blythe, secured water rights to the Colorado River, dreaming of what he called an empire on the Colorado. Those water rights are an integral part of Blythe to this very day. It was the promise of plentiful water that brought the first settlers here. The first school in the Palo Verde Valley was built in 1902 with cottonwood poles and arrowweed. Not long after the early settlers came the arrival of the railroad in 1916. And perhaps not by coincidence, that same year, Blythe incorporated and became a city. There were about 600 residents at that time, and only 70 of them cast a vote. In those days, it really was the Wild West. Those early years were anything but easy. When the Colorado River flooded in 1922, Hotel Ripley guests were evacuated in rowboats, and 35,000 acres of farmland were underwater, though the city of Blythe proper escaped major damage. In 1928, a major milestone, the first bridge over the Colorado, connecting Blythe and Arizona, was completed. But 1 year later, the Great Depression struck.
American bombers assemble at a secret aerodrome somewhere along the northern tip of Australia.
After the Depression came the Second World War.
Weeks of planning, months of training, now put to the test.
And in 1942, when General Patton activated the Desert Training Center, thousands of military personnel came to the Blythe Army Air Base. With few structures standing from those days, the air base is now a civilian airport, and once in a while, it's still used for training exercises. When I-10 was built through Blythe in the 60s, it ushered in a new round of development. A decade later, back in the 80s, when Blythe successfully campaigned for the first of two state prisons it has today, Chuckawalla and Ironwood prisons are major area employers. From Blythe's humble beginnings, through the Depression, and a world war.
Daily they go up, and daily they land.
From gravel roads to an interstate, from farming the ground to harnessing the sun. Imagine living through it all. Even after a century, Blythe's small town spirit is alive and well.